before Doctor Strange's multiverse. A fairly straightforward narrative with easy to understand events. After Doctor Strange's multiverse, well, now it's a mess. Welcome! This is the Obscure Titan with another writing episode of Megatronic Legacy. This will be a different episode from the rest because instead of discussing one's canonical info, I will go over each arc on how they'll be written and laid down in plot connections. With that out of the way, let's teach history. And trust me, there won't be any time travel confusion. Before we get started, there are a few key events that won't be in 3D animation but still reference to talk about. 1. The Star of Relevos is the starting point to where the series began. 2. Primus and Unicron fought for Heaven's control, following with Megatronus' appearance to overcome the Dark God with his angelic army. 3. Megatronus' convoy falls from grace years after, and being the first to defile himself in energon fusion, a mixture of light and dark energon which can easily corrupt one's heart and mind. 4. The creation of humans, Singhili, Matoran, Prometheans, and dragons come about as years go by. 5. Various Autobot and Decepticons are created prior to the progressive fallout, Flawn and the androids being made between early 14th to mid-19th centuries. 6. Flawn joins the American government during the Civil War in aiding Abraham Lincoln defending off Confederate forces in the Deep South. Now that we got these points set in place, I'll discuss the entries as follows. The Progressive Fallout Part 1, Lost Faith, takes place in 1917. Having put up with President Wilson's corruption and flip-flopping, on top of implementing socialist dealings in America, Flawn makes a difficult decision to leave the country and live as a neutral android. The Cybertron Heavenly Court finds out about this and relieves her of her position without Primus's approval. The Progressive Fallout Part 2, Lost Faith Part 2, takes place a year after, 2 years before Warren Harding's election in 1920. And Flawn finishes World War I. Following this success, she still doesn't plan on returning to America after the fact. It focuses on her personal struggles with Cybertron, knowing it too was following socialist tendencies, which goes against her conservative values. The Progressive Fallout Part 3, The Facade of Zaktan Part 1, revolves around the establishment of the alliance between Zurg, the Paraka, and Mysilika between 1929 to 1935, the latter being the current setting for this part of the story. It also focuses on the relationship between Etna, Mekai, and Vuborak as the Demon Squad under Mysilika's leadership. This serves as the first entry to have Etna's group as protagonists. Zaktan makes his plan for colonization of other islands for his Syndicalist regimes. The Progressive Fallout Part 4, Shockwave's Ambitions, focuses on the Decepticons' takeover of both Europe and Asia, with both Shockwave and Starscream taking charge in 1939 prior to Megatron's entry with Energon fusion. The Progressive Fallout Part 5, The Return of Megatron, pretty much says the title. Taking place in 1943, Megatron receives the Energon fusion. Being the second character in the roster receives this treatment. The Progressive Fallout Part 6, Convoy's Downfall, is the finale war for Flawn and Duncan Carterson against both the Demon Squad and Megatron in 1945. This intense battle tested two freedom fighters as they duke it out in Berlin. This could also include Angela in this fight, helping Flawn against Megatron. The battle itself ends with Flawn and Buzz using the Matrix to wipe out Megatron of his Energon fusion and weaken Decepticon forces, essentially scattering to various locations on Earth after World War II ended. The Progressive Fallout Part 7, The Facade of Zaktan Part 2, revolves around the Midgrandian invasion taking place in 1947. Zurg hopes to colonize the island. However, Zaktan and the Paraka betrayed the Emperor and his Chancellor Radaka. They even captured Vuborak and planned to extract all of his Energon reserves, eventually killing him afterwards. Mysilika sends out Etna and Mekai to punish the Paraka by killing them. This arc begins with the Lone Wolf Pack Part 1 of the Korean sub-arc. It revolves around a team of half-genie representatives. Harmony, the only pure genie guardian of the Jin military, leads a portion of her crew and Sky to uncover Starscream's whereabouts. Zigo Oshiba is on the same mission as well, looking for him to avenge his long-lost partner, which leads him to meeting Zapple, a candidate running for rulership of the Genie Realm. They eventually catch up with the Decepticon Seeker, only to imprison him when originally planned to kill him. Clans of Conflict Part 2 takes place a year after Starscream's capture and focuses on the conflict between the Xia Ryu and the Lin Kuei. Their task is nuclear power, but one wanting to use it and the other eradicating it. The progressive Fallout Part 8, The Conception of Godzilla, takes place in 1954 and focuses on Etna's team by bringing about the creation of their Godzilla clone using Godzilla's DNA and the Zag-like egg. This ends with Flan getting into an aerial fight and the egg vanishes into Iran. This would be Etna and her group's third time to being the protagonist of the story. Nibiru Crisis takes place in December 1962 after the Cuban Missile Crisis was averted. Buzz was tasked by President JFK to go into space to investigate a suspicious fleet floating around Earth. It's been known that there is a proxy war between Unicron and Zerg's Federation. In 1969, Nasty Nork and Arbiter set their sights to invade Midgrandia and cause turmoil to the folks living there. Taking place a decade after, Velvet Retaliation focuses on Velvet Crow's journey from her positive beginnings of Midgrandia to Nasty Nork's invasion, from her adoption by Jimmy Carter to her fallout, and to working with Mesolika to obtain the Godzilla egg. The Shirai Ryu Crusaders is set shortly after Velvet loses the egg in Yalharix, and Shantae's group goes through hell to achieve it. Between this and the next, Shantae meets Ripto to form an alliance to bring Godzilla to life. The birth of Godzilla takes place in 1981, and hence the uprising of Jin Spectre Godzilla. Attempting to control the creature, Shantae and Ripto do all they can to ensure he was obedient to them. Spyro and Flan set off on an adventure to stop Nasty Nork's crystal bomb from happening in 1983's Norgarchy. They fight off Nasty's minions, and the Soviets fulfill their mission. Following the downfall of Nasty Nork's bomb, Magnus leads his army to take back Dragonus Nui and free the other islands in the fall of Norgarchy in 1984. The awakening of Godzilla comes afterward. Shantae and Ripto send Godzilla to Earth to find the key to Yalharix, which is hidden beneath Las Vegas, Nevada. Spyro, Flan, and Conker set out on a quest to save America and the world from Godzilla's rampage. However, they got transported to the Genie Realm. They have a few days to escape the realm and return home to save it before Shantae and Ripto achieve their goal. Between this and the next, Genie's Trust is a semi-midquel taking place during Dark Redemption storyline. Shantae and the Half-Genies look to restore the Genie Realm and reclaiming her father Hanzo Hisashi. That being said, Dark Redemption takes place right after the events of Awakening of Godzilla, and Etna's fleet enters the realm to investigate. A battle ensues with Velvet indirectly joining Spyro's crew to fend off against Mesolika's militia. They all duke it out on Mystica to find the matrix of leadership. I will split President Conker's Gulf War arc. Nasty's Gulf Revenge takes place in 1991. Nasty gets Crash and Coco to join forces to use the Gulf War as ammunition to combat President Conker and weaken Spyro's crew. King Ghidorah taking place a couple months after. Pterodax and Cortex find ways to use King Ghidorah by tricking the Genie Realm into invading European countries. This involves Godzilla to join since 1984's Awakening of Godzilla. Less than a year later, prior to Conker's re-election in 1992, Newest Satanic Brigade revolves around Etna and her allies once again, making this their fourth time being the protagonists. Etna plans her retaliation for the downfall of the Mesollican socialist regime. The Celestial Calamity is a three-part finale of the series. This revolves the heroes and some villains, prepping up to confront Unicron, Primus, and Megatron's convoy, all under President Conker's leadership and a few others who join in his plan. Celestial Calamity Part 1 involves Spyro's allies going up to Nibiru to defeat the Dark God and the Sankili. Prior to Unicron's downfall, Spyro and Velvet discover the truth behind the creation of the universe, leading to the origins of Megatron's convoy. Moving on, Celestial Calamity Part 2 takes place shortly after and attempts the same to Cybertron. This goes into Flan's grievances with its handling and leanings to socialist tendencies which tainted its reputation. Megatronic Showdown is the finale of the series, taking place after both Primus and Unicron met their demises. Yalharix was already in shambles thanks to Godzilla's rampage and Genie's Trust. So, having to do away with the hellish realm would make it more difficult. It is soon revealed to the main cast that they find out about Megatron's convoy's whereabouts and his true origins. But after defeating Megatron's convoy, Spyro and his crew return home, knowing that they completed their mission. Spyro and his friends enjoy an era of peace from since then. Until Space Godzilla invades Earth in late 1998 and President Banjo doing a poor job stopping it, only for Sierra Celica and her running mate Altus Angelica to avert the crisis. Alright, the last one probably won't happen in the film, but still a pretty cool idea. With all of this being established, we can see where these events would fall into, from the darkness of the progressive Fallout to the intergalactic tension of Nibiru Crisis, Velvet's Revenge, Godzilla's Uprising, Norkarki, and President Conker. I'll be ironing out some details while this goes into production, but this will serve as a good base for the projects. My next episode will go into the concepts of heaven and hell. In other words, Cybertron and Yal Helrix. If you think my take on Unicron and the Sangheili is radical, this next episode will take it to a completely different level. Thanks for watching, feel free to subscribe and like, and I'll catch you next time. Over and out.